So as I was meditating on the subject of Pluto again this morning, the term primum mobile popped in my head again. I think I may have mentioned this in the first episode on this series, but primum mobile is Latin for the first movable, if you will. The first movable is meant to describe the outermost. Pluto is often ascribed this name as the modern outermost so-called planet. Now, in the ancient world, these were known as wandering stars. The planets, as we know them today, in the ancient world, were called wandering stars because that's what they look like. And the first movable, meaning the one that's way out there that still moves, it's one of the moving ones that's all the way out, therefore it's the first, primum mobile. And I mentioned some in earlier episodes about this as above, so below. The truth of as above, so below, in an inverse fashion, if you will. Meaning that Pluto being the outermost primum mobile, the first to move, the first on the outside of the wandering stars, then in the realm of as above, so below, as within, so without, then it must represent that which is deepest within us. The outermost is the innermost. The outermost is the innermost. And it matches up perfectly when you look at the astrology and where Pluto rules in the modern zodiac is the sign of Scorpio. Pluto is in charge in the sign of Scorpio in the modern understanding of the zodiac. And of course, Scorpio is the archetypal 8th house, and it represents the groin, the sex organs, the reproductive system, the sexual energy, the sex drive, and therefore metaphysically dark secrets, skeletons in the closet, icky stuff we don't like to talk about. This is Scorpio. This is Pluto. And so the outermost in the physical firmament represents the innermost in us, the deepest part of ourself. And this is linked up to our deepest pain as well, because God is waiting for us in our deepest pain. Pluto brings pain, as I talked about in the first volume. But just like Saturn, it's never pain without a purpose. When I consider the upcoming time we're moving into, with Pluto soon to inhabit the area of Aquarius for the next 20 years, it's interesting that the energy of Aquarius is very high on the collective. Most Aquarians I've known in my life know how to fit right into a room and can make friends easily compared to some other signs. Well, Pluto represents the innermost of us, and it's going through Aquarius. Aquarius is about the collective. It's about the people. Astrologers around the world are talking about power to the people. Power is coming back to the people. Power is coming back to the people. Pluto is about the innermost in us. How do we find the innermost in the collective? When the innermost in most individuals is completely covered over and blocked and distracted and completely unknown. The innermost is unknown in us as individuals. And Pluto is about to rip apart and rebuild the innermost in the collective. That's bound to be pretty messy. The outermost planet represents the innermost in us. For 20 years moving into Aquarius, the next 20 years, going to be transforming the innermost in the people, the collective. This is heavy.